the lights. I love under the lights, 100%. This is going to be great stuff. 25-lap Pro Shifter main. Let's see who comes out on top. I can't wait.
Yeah, these guys are used to being at the end of the show, batting cleanup, right? The main event and running under the lights more times than not. At minimum, they end up around sunset hour. We're a little later than that. We added a few more sessions to the day. We had here and there a little bit of racing that took a little longer, but nonetheless, some great racing. Let's take one last look at our kart class track map because there's a couple of different nuances, right, in terms of spots to keep your eyes out when it comes to the gearbox karts versus the single speeds here, Mike.
Well, especially we're talking about as we go down to the straightaway, we're hitting around 90 or so miles an hour plus as you go into turn number 1. But the big spots is the number of over, under, and crossover opportunities in 4 and 5. We talked about the single speed. It's no different with these guys, but they can run a little bit of a tighter line. 6 to set up into 7, and of course that 9, 10, 11. And some of these guys are able to pull that move into 13, Rob.
Indeed, that's for sure. One little wrinkle in that track map you can't put on there is the moisture on the outside of turn number 1, rather. There's a lot of drivers do a later apex to try to get under that. If you're hung out to dry on the outside, Xander, you may run those right side tires right over top of that puddle.
And then where do you end up after that? Yeah. In the wall, right? We saw that happen to Ruben Moya, and well, unfortunately, one man knows the wall on the outside of turn 1 a little bit too well. Marcus Kayak would love nothing more than to right the wrongs of yesteryear with a dominant performance today. He's starting from the front row just like he did 365 days ago, but it's a different driver alongside him. Back then was a teammate. Victor Gustafsson started inside the top 10. He has now been consistent enough to earn the pole starting spot. When we talked to him this morning, Rob, he didn't really boast or give off a whole lot of confidence. He said, man, we got a lot of speed to make up. I just wasn't making mistakes like the other guys. We got more to find.
Well, listen, it's a bit different. Here's the unknowns for, of course, today, right? The cooler temperatures, the track not near as much rubber as it would have had we been all the way through the weekend without that torrential rain yesterday, which washed off a lot of the rubber. And then the one thing that Mike and I have kept harping on throughout the day is here, unknown territory, lap 15 on. That extended happy hour practice before qualifying on Thursday was about 12 minutes. It gave him about 14, 15 laps. Once we get to 16, 17, 18, all the way to 25, Mike, that's unknown territory. What you've done with the chassis, what you've done with the tire pressures, that's what's going to tell you if you're going to be in the fight when it's all said and done.
Unknown territory for most, but not for Billy Musgrave starting in 6th, who's already got one in the books at 25 laps on his factory kart. He knows what he did and what may work right here. He's talked about it. I'm going to try and set this thing up for pro.
So you're saying that being an old guy, 33 years of age, is going to play out for him here right now when the only guy in this field that can run both Masters and Pro.
All according to plan.
Xander, this is going to be good stuff with Gustafsson and Kajak on the front row. Both those drivers looking for a big victory here.
They are, indeed. And when you go back beyond them, you think of how many guys probably are thinking in these rows that one different miscue from this week, and they've got easily a SuperNats win in hand, right? For one, Senna Van Walstein, the easiest one to pick out here back on row number 8.
Now, is that the guy we need to watch right now? He's been the outright fastest driver all weekend long. He's going to be coming from 16th outside of row number 8, as you said. The leaders are going to try to check out. Xander, we saw some guys make big moves with the wrecks we saw early on. There were guys that were up 10, 11 spots on the opening lap. That would put him into 6 or 7.
Yeah, it all starts with the launch, right? You've got to get off the line well. You got to get that clutch done just right. All these drivers, phenomenal at that. That's why they're in Pro Shifter. That's why they're at the sharp end of this thing. And I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of talent at the sharp end. It's really anyone's guess, but you really have to get these opening few corners, these opening couple of laps to dial in and see where you're at before you can start setting a strategy together.
Well, and let's talk about as well the diversity of brands at the front of the field too, right? CRG, Victor Gustafsson trying to bring them their first Pro Shifter win since 2017. Viral Art had one kind of in a technical alliance last year with the Talcart Factory Racing team, was on track to maybe get one with Morgado beforehand. And Marinello, they have never won the Pro Shifter category at the SuperNationals. Giuseppe Palumba from row 2 could try to get it done. GFC has won about every major event in almost every major category, and Gary Carlton himself has won this race as a driver. He hasn't won it yet as an owner.
Yeah, and I like that. You know how much I love having different brands up front. I like pointing those out. At different opportunities, whatever chassis you're on, to get the job done. GFC really doesn't have anybody right now. I think in the top 4 or 5 that we could see happen. You never know. But again, I think you're leaning towards the CRG, the Formula K. Hero Art's right there still too. But what about factory car? How big would that be if you look at a brand? It's been since 1999 since we've had an American-made chassis win the pro category, and that was Track Magic with Mo Gidley.
Yeah, and you have to mention the Sodi karts, right? They've been so
100%.
strong. The other competitors keep pointing out how strong they are. Okay, Senna's starting further back, but he's not the only Sodi kart. Matthias Morgado is trying to get a little bit better. He said he's only getting 75 or 70% out of this thing going into this, and he starts 5th. How about Matteo Spurgel? Right there as well in a Sodi kart machine.
Yeah, they've got some bullets in the gun, no doubt about that. You look back at the days where Anthony Abbas came in and won a couple of times for Sodi kart. They could easily, Xander, get the job done here in 2025.
Oh, 100%. I think Morgado, to me, looked probably the most underdriving, kart in the earlier heats. It felt like he was holding back quite a bit. He also kind of looks that way in the early half of a race, and then all of a sudden we find ourselves going, wow, this guy is 4/10, 3/10, or last year more than half a second faster than the race leader, tracking him down like it's easy. He finds a way to do it all the time.
Xander, we talked about what you got to do here right now. Aggressive tire scrubbing for all these drivers trying to get that heat into these Avinco tires. First couple of rolls are rolling in their start spots. There he is right there. Victor Gustafsson, former world champion, potentially trying to come away with a SuperNationals victory alongside him. Marcus Kayak, so close last year to get that victory. Lining things up now as we get ready to go green.
It's the final moments, the final look right into the eyes of the front row as the final few drivers get into position under the lights and the skyline of the Las Vegas Strip, off in the distance for the final time at SKUSA SuperNationals 28, Rob, in the only way you ever sign off a SuperNationals. It is with Pro Shifter ready for action, 43 deep.
Field set, clear from the back. They'll be told to put the visors down. Time to get rolling. Pro Shifter, final of the SuperNats 28 is green, green, green.
Gustafsson wide, Longy wide, a number of them into the water. Billy Musgrave getting away with a decent start, and look at the jump for Kayak.
Oh, Kayak comes from the outside. Oh, there's big contact drilled to the back. That is Morgado. Morgado is out Spiritual. Got in the back of him, drilled him into turn number 4.
Didn't have a chance. Mateus Morgado on the number 5 will not get a second try to go at a Pro Shifter win tonight.
And I'm sure the boys are already looking for the replay because I'm pretty sure that happened from even further back, maybe 3, 4, 5 carts even further.
Big launch, though, from Kayak. He goes out to the massive lead. And again, Gustafsson got in there, Xander, had to really pedal it, and then right over top of the water, trying to go back onto power.
Look at the difference here. Pedro Hiltbrand, nearly twice the age of young Jay Irwin. The Kiwi kid, look to the card in front of him. It's the 99, the former SuperNats winner, trying to say to work together. Into the pit lane already for the 75. That's Sam Dicker, I believe, going into the scale lines. He's done. Morgado in the wall, Spurgel in the wall. Look at the start for Senna. 16th to 9th.
What did we say? Guys making big moves like that. AJ Myers up 10 as well. Ninth spot for Senna Van Wolstein. You can go from there. Only the second lap coming in the books here. It is Kayak up front. It is Palumbo up to second. Hiltbrand, Irwin, Gustafsson in 5th. Wick, Rossetti, Valiente, Van Wolstein, and Valentino Frisch.
Big losers. We already talked about Spurgel, Morgado. Add Longy into that group. Eli Fox down 9. Billy Musgrave down several. 13, or Dicker down 13.
2 passes right there in turn 1, and a lot to unpack. There is Mateo Spurgel and Mateus Morgado. Morgado, shades of 2024 there, walking away.
Yeah, the guys in the truck giving us a little look at him walking away. Mike, have a look at this. We're going to see the start, guys. First and foremost, a great start for Kayak, but look at issue with Gustafsson. Xander totally missed it, Mike, into turn 1.
That's exactly the same thing we saw from Spurgel in the heat race earlier today, right? The thing just doesn't stop, doesn't start, or tart.
Let's see if we see it here. Here's the contact coming into the corner.
Oh,
yeah. Kart further back, I think. No,
the Kart. Yeah, the Kart right behind Senna Van Wolstein going into 4. Sends Senna into his 2 teammates. Nothing he could do. And when we go back up front, Irwin and Hiltbrand have traded that 3rd spot a couple times. Van Wolstein's now gotten by the pole sitter, Gustafsson. And Billy Musgrave, he got trapped on the wayside. He went way down the leaderboard, down to 16th currently. Giuseppe Palumbo really was right on the heels of Gustafson. Might have helped him a little bit into the first corner, but here we are again, fellas. Marcus Kayak trying everything he can to build the gap. What did he learn from last year that he can take to this year to change the outcome? He's got the lead early. 21 laps still to go.
Xander, what could he really have done last year? We've watched that replay over and over. You know, there's not really, I don't think, a whole lot he could do. It was a late move from Morgado down to the inside. Really just not his doing at all. If he's able to get out and put these laps down like he did last year, this could be the year where he comes away with the win.
Pass for second. Pedro Hiltbrand to the inside of Giuseppe Palumbo. A couple of world champs duking it out, and a 16-year-old hotshot who nearly walked out with the Pro Tour title at Newcastle this year, digging in as well from New Zealand, and Jay Irwin in the 6 car.
Well, one thing about Kajak, if he looks back and sees the red and white Imperial art, is he going to start thinking about 2024, right?
I mean, think about it. Pedro Hiltbrand last year, if he pays a little better attention to the big screen, he'd realize he was racing for the win with Vasile, and they make the move. Here's Irwin to the inside of Palumbo. Jay Irwin, this is a career spotlight moment for this kid who debuted in Pro Shifter at the SuperNats and went viral for all the wrong reasons, being involved in a hairy crash. He says, come back, performed, and wow, is he really putting that single-digit plate to good use.
Starting to look at the drivers a little bit further back. There you see him just entering the screen above there. Wick and Van Walstein, 2.8 seconds and 3.1 seconds respectively. However, Kayak and Hiltbrand, they've got a little bit of an advantage. If they don't figure out how to do a little something, it's going to be tough, even with all the speed of those
Watch
two guys.
the lap this time for Senna Van Walstein. Last time by 4/10 clear of the leader. How much this time by?
3, maybe.
Yeah. Let's be real. This guy is rolling, guys. You are on this here.
Here he goes. He's working Kyle Wick right now. Turn 4, looking. This will be easy. Wick's going to let him have it. 5th place from 16th on the grid. Senna Van Walstein not going to give up here. He's lost, unfortunately, his 2 teammates. Wasn't his own doing. Got kind of jacked up on the start into 4, and it might come back to him here. Hiltbrand is still reeling in Kayak.
Yeah, we are just a quarter away through this one. 6 down, as we know, long way to go to that 25 mark. And indeed, great opening couple laps here for Senna Van Walstein. The pace is there. You guys said he was a half a second faster, then 0.3 faster. Purple on back-to-back laps. They'll put lap 7 in the books. A 44.787 for Kajak. What do we get out of Van Walstein? Coming across the line, 44.3. Guys, he's knocking 0.4 of a second a lap. And there's a big move to the inside there as well. Big move to the lead as there comes Pedro Hiltbrand. Hiltbrand moving the forward. That was Hiltbrand. Here we go. Big stuff early. Hiltbrand goes to P1.
Here comes Irwin, too. You can't imagine he's going to wait too long if he gets there. Look at the slide through the corner. Rotation with the shifter. I love it.
Jay Irwin has been following his mentor, I'm sure, this weekend under PSL karting, and Pedro Hiltbrand probably grew up watching Pedro win that world championship. Now looking for second on Kayak. Does he have enough confidence? Not into 1. Turn 4, quite a bit easier to make it through the corner, a little bit harder to stick it.
Yeah, that move to the inside of 1 is harder to make. Here he comes to the bottom, very aggressive down there, grabbing gears to try to come out of the corner, side by side. Kajak doesn't want to give it up, tucks back in. There comes Palumbo once again. Mike, good stuff here. The inside move into 1 is going to send you with an early apex into the water. You got to be really clean when you come through on the inside.
We're going to see lap 10, and guess who's on the scene, boys? Van Walstein. Here we go. Van Walstein is right here with them. Guess what? Leader Hiltbrand, he's going to need to grab some gears, literally, figuratively, all the things to try to stay away from those trailing 4.
Yeah, right now you'd think, okay, Marcus Kayak's making that Formula K machine nice and wide. Senna's going to get trapped here. He's not going to get to Hiltbrand. Van Walstein was still 0.2 better. Irwin's going to send this one deeper. At some point, he's got to get the elbows out. He's letting Kayak continue to close the door. Here comes Palumbo looking on as well, and look at Senna. Can he get the over-under and the drive off? Not quite out of turn number 7.
Yeah, Senna's going to take a little opportunity to gauge the competition right now. Where am I quicker? He can see what's going on up front. He realized that Kajak's holding everybody up in the Formula K right now. But Xander, I think you nailed it right there. Right now, we need to see Jay Irwin make that big move. He's got to send it deep. He can't just wait for it now. He's got to make that move to get by because Hiltbrand is starting to pull away. Here comes Senna. He'll make the move to the inside down in turn number 1. Book it. He is through. Van Wallstein to P4.
And Kyle Wick, albeit maybe not as strong as Senna Van Wallstein, is still digging. Irwin now to the high side. Kayak's going to throw it over the curb. Van Wallstein says, thank you very much. I'll take P3. Here we go into 7 again.
It's a lot easier to pass when they give it to you like that. We just got to pick up the pieces. But, hey, I'll tell you right now, you guys, oh, big move right there.
Oh my goodness. He tried to look to the inside coming into turn number 8. We've seen passes on the outside. And look at this. Irwin giving it back to him. Jay Irwin's right there. Palumbo. They are beating and bagging. Oh, into the wall. That's Irwin. Irwin into the wall out of turn number 12.
Giuseppe Palumbo, that looked vicious into the right-hand side of Jay Irwin. Just sent him into the barriers. And Kyle Wick watching on. Wow. I'd love another look at that one because from the angle that we had, that looked rough, boys.
Agreed. And listen, we talked already about GFC not having the piece. Holy mackerel, Kyle Wick is rolling.
And all through that, Kayak is 2 seconds plus back. Look at Pedro Hiltbrand, the lead he's got right now, and we're about halfway.
But Senna Van Wallstein now has a little gap from Palumbo as he goes to the inside and sends it on Kayak. Here's a look. Palumbo up and onto the curb, and oh, dude.
Oh, that's 100% deliberate. Just drove him into the wall. He was up on the inside of the curbing. Mike, you can unpack this as well. He literally, watch this come out of the corner. And he is going to be right there, and he just drives him over into the barriers.
That is ridiculous. If there's ever been a worthy black flaggable moment mid-session, that right there probably is one. Here he is sending it on Kayak. Van Wallstein's going to get away. We'll see if Senna can continue to make some hay. And Kyle Wick now goes to work on Marcus.
Listen.
Inside.
Oh,
barely a car width, and Wick makes it through.
What do we got going
by the
on?
way.
That was nice. Nice move to the inside. Hey, we've been talking about driving standards all weekend long. That's the most egregious thing that we have seen all weekend.
That was ridiculous.
Flat driving Irwin into the wall, turning right into him for sure. There's going to be trouble there for Palumbo.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Whether or not, caught halfway, I thought that was a black flag coming out. I wouldn't be surprised to see it.
I wouldn't either.
But nonetheless, Giuseppe Palumbo, yeah, that move's probably going to take him off the podium. He might get to stand there if they don't. And we're getting word. Black flag coming out. Giuseppe Palumbo has been disqualified. He's gone. That'll give Kyle Wick 3rd place.
Yeah, that was, again, like I said, egregious. Absolutely flagrant foul. Driving Irwin off the racetrack out of 7. That's, again, like you said, going to allow Wick to be able to pull up into P3.
It's just disappointing, Mike. You expect a lot more out of a world champion than that.
Yeah, it's just pretty crazy to see that actually up to this point. It's been pretty good. They were just started getting a little argy-bargy right there, and then first instance, boom, that happens. And switching back to the race at the front, how about this, you guys? 1.6 seconds, Hiltbrand to Van Wallstein, advantage 0.3 of a second and 1 lap for Senna.
And a new man in 3rd.
Yeah, Wick actually made the move there, getting by. The problem right now is the way we've seen Palumbo racing. Is he going to get back into the Wick here? They did not give Wick that meatball flag that we expected to see out of him.
Palumbo the flag, you mean?
Well, whatever they decide to give, yeah, the black. Whatever they're going to give him to send him off the racetrack, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what they end up doing. So we're keeping eyes on Palumbo, but indeed, Senna Van Wallstein, albeit this time it's a Sodi hunting down a Birolard, changing the script from last year. We do have our man in 2nd, the fastest kart this weekend, making inroads with still a lot of laps left.
The math is there. It says it's going to make it again. Another 0.3. Another 3. It's 0.3 a lap for the Sodi. The math is like 100%. It's a matter of when he's going to catch him. The question is, what's Pedro going to do when he gets there?
And these two, the story between Pedro Hiltbrand and Senna Van Wallstein spans and has multiple chapters over the last 2 years. It goes back to last year's KZ World Championships. It continued at the SuperNats last year. They are far from friends. There will be no punches pulled when Senna, and he will arrive at the rate he's going for the lead.
And Mike, we're at that place you kept talking about. Still lap 15, lap 16, lap 17. Uncharted waters. Who has the kart to keep going up? We've seen Van Wallstein moving forward. Is it going to hit a wall? Is it going to plateau? Or is it going to keep getting better? Last time by again, he was almost 2/10 quicker.
And both these drivers and both these teams have notes from last year. It's not different equipment. It's not different programs. No. These guys know what they had last year. They know what they had all week long. This is the best of the best of the best going on right now.
And it's the two guys who probably also, like Kayak and Morgado, felt like that race last year could have been theirs. Van Wallstein, a little too aggressive early, both kind of missed the air pressure, but ultimately he made a mistake. He tapped the wall, bent the front end geometry, and he was off pace the rest of the race. Hiltbrand didn't know he was racing for the win, ended up second, could have been a two-time Pro Shifter champ. They both could turn the tide this year, and then if you go off last year, Kyle Wick, Auburn, Washington's own, is in the catbird seat there in third because he's hanging on over Palumba. He's just far away. They might not realize how close he is.
I guarantee you Pedro knows he's fighting for the win right now. He's not going to be able to make that mistake. Let's go, brother.
Yeah, we got 17 laps down, 8 laps remaining. Pro Shifter main event, SuperNationals 28, and we are lining ourselves up something good right now.
Watch the 41 there, guys. You see how much he shortens the track up. He's making it tighter and able to carry big speed while making a shorter track. The next time they go there, check it out. Oh, there it is, you guys.
Black flag took a moment to probably confirm the footage. Giuseppe Palumba now has been flagged to go to the pit lane. He's going to stay out one more lap, and if he stays out too much longer, he might not get a trip back. Last year he had to fight, couldn't get it here through the country's customs. I don't know if he's going to be allowed in the gates of the event if he does make it back in 26.
Entry will be refused 100%.
Turn 10, here it is. They're going to go into 8, 9. This is going to be the first opportunity. Normal line for Senna. Let's see if he makes it.
Down to the inside of the racetrack. Not enough. Across the bow comes Hiltbrand from right to left. He'll hold him off. Released another corner. He is right with them. They'll work their way again out of turn number 13, lap 19 in the books. 6 laps remaining. Here comes that penalty flag once again for Palumba. Down into the corner. Not quite enough. Here's a move to the inside on the exit bucket. New leader, Van Wallstein to P1.
Pedro Hiltbrand made the mistake. He got loose under braking. Now Van Wallstein covers. Can Senna race it off into the distance? Or does Pedro have anything left as they go to turn 7? A huge roar from the crowd. 16th to the lead for Senna Van Wallstein.
You see the hand in the air right there from Pedro. He can't believe it.
I was just going to say, unbelievable, plus 16. And here comes a driver in hot into the scales, Palumba, after that egregious wreck on Jay Irwin off the racetrack into the scales.
Hiltbrand got a decent run out of the final turn. It's been tough to be the leader from what we've seen. But Senna Van Wallstein has overcome the odds thus far. He's got a ton of speed. Can he walk it off here over the final 5 laps, 2 car lengths back?
Listen, we're talking about Pacific Northwest, right? We're talking about Canada as well. You got Wick out of Auburn. You got Riccitti and Valiente, the 2 ITEL kart drivers. Ramo can be racing masters almost as well. He's P5. Young Massimo Valiente. I remember seeing him when he first got here. He was absolutely blown away. This is the battle we're watching on the racetrack right now.
There he goes, Massimo and Ramo digging at Marcus Kayak. AJ Myers, the Magic Man, in the number 2 plate, trying to get onto the podium once again. He has been so close. He's had some bad luck consistently make him start deep in the field, and just like last year, he's driving into the top 5.
Let me talk about Massimo Valiente a second. He was wide-eyed his first time here to run Pro Shifter, but look what he has done right now. Battling right now with one of the best we've had in the U.S. over the last decade, A.J. Myers. Pushing hard. Myers trying to get himself back onto the box one more time from deep in the field. He always comes up big in the SuperNats.
I wonder what happened with Palumba's, if he had a factor of this group backing up. Look at Bertuca now to the inside of Valiente. The fight is on. That is going to be another one of the Intel carts. Quarantine Russo, Justin White in the mix. All the while, Pedro Hiltbrand trying to answer the call. There's the 18 of Reneden making a move. But 3 laps to go this time by. Hiltbrand is not going silently into the night, fellas. He is still lurking a couple car lengths back.
Only 0.8 of a second off on that last lap, Xander. He's waiting for a maybe any kind of a mistake from Senna Van Wallstein. He is the leader right now. Listen, we already saw Noah Baglin, the world champion, come and win one here this weekend. Is the world champion at KZ going to do exactly the same thing?
You see him tucking all the way. He's doing everything he can. Look at the head. He's getting frustrated, though, because he's coming out of the corner, and every time it seems like he's got something going his way, Senna seems to pull just that little bit more.
He is trying. He is hoping that the tires will slowly fade for Van Wallstein, but Senna Van Wallstein is making him last even with this incredible drive through the field. Edge of your seat, folks. 2 laps to go. The top 2 have separated bigger than they've been in a moment. But you never know. A massive puddle off to the side of Van Wallstein at any moment. He still needs to put these perfect corners together.
2 laps remaining. Van Wolstein, Hiltbrand, Wick, Kajak, and Valiente running P5 ahead of AJ Myers. What a battle we have, not just for the lead, but for the final steps on the podium. Xander, 2 to go.
Senna Van Wolstein, the gap now back up to 6/10 last time. What does it become at the white flag? Hiltbrand, you saw the frustration, Mike, you mentioned it. It doesn't look like he's got quite the pace right now in the infield. It's the drive off, Rob, that he has not had. Out of the last turn, he inches a little bit closer, but still 6/10, 1 lap to go.
And literally, Xander, they're so close right now. Their gap was like 2 or 3 hundredths of a second, the difference in speed. Van Wolstein, 6/10 last time by. He's going to be able to cruise this thing home, I believe, through 4 and 5. So good, working his way through the infield of this racetrack.
Pedro Hiltbrand is going to be reliving that turn 1 bobble for a long time. Second for the second consecutive year if Van Wolstein can just make 3 more corners, overcoming a 50th place result of the opening heat. 2 turns, 1 turn to go.
What a story it is, folks. The winner in Pro Shifter SuperNats 28 is Senna Van Wolstein. Pedro Hiltbrand right there. Kyle Wick, a masterful drive for Wick, up 8 spots to go P3. Kajak in 4th. And AJ Myers slips past Massimo Valiente on the final circuit. It is time for Senna Van Wolstein to sign his name to the parking lot at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
How about it? He had a smile on his face and a beer in hand Thursday night. How happy do you think this guy's going to be with this kind of result after the way the week went? The roller coaster of emotions for Senna Van Wolstein and the ride he's been on. And again, AJ Myers, Massimo Valiente, Myers provisionally 5th for the 2nd consecutive year. An incredible drive through the pack to get there.
Senna Van Wolstein, you're the first driver to be the world champion and the SuperNationals champion in the same year. Tell me about that feeling. Best in the world.
Yeah, so obviously been quite good. It was a really fun race. Going further back in the beginning was a bit hard because, you know, it's a lot of things going on. Once the race was settled, I just know I had to stay calm. Pace was there. Overtake Pedro and drive away. So that's it.
Look, at the start of this weekend, all the odds were stacked up against you at the start of this race. Tell me about working your way through the field that entire race.
Yeah, well, obviously we started really good. Then we had disqualification. For the rest, we won all the heats, everything that we can do. And then, yeah, coming into the final, we knew we had the speed. We just had to stay calm and stay out of trouble. That's what we did, and that's where we won now. Obviously, we have an extremely strong package with Velocity Racing, Kart, and Sani engines. Without this, I'm not sure if I can win as well. So thank you for these guys.
There you go. Senna Van Wolstein, SuperNationals winner in 2025. David?
Yeah, and I'm down here with the runner-up, Pedro Hiltbrand. Pedro, just you knew you were fighting for the win this year. I guess that's an improvement over last year, but just kind of walk me through that battle with at the end and where you came up short.
Yeah, obviously I knew I was fast. Big gap. Then I saw him. He was flying. I mean, what I could do, I could go in immediately, but already far away. He was faster than us all this week. So we need to work more and to have more speed for next year.
I know it was a difficult week up to this. Does a second place still pretty good?
Yeah, obviously the qualifying before my mistake from quali that we were in the Q2 for the slowest group. That was my mistake, nothing to say. But I always push hard. As I do in the final, I always believe. Second again, but we're gonna try next year.
Yeah, that's good to hear. He'll be back next year looking for his first SuperNats win.
Second SuperNats win to just make one correction, Dave, but at least to go 1 spot higher indeed. It's the 2nd consecutive year Pedro Hiltbrand finds himself as the bridesmaid here, Mike. That one's going to sting again, but like he said, at the end of the day, he had to kind of tip his hat to the Velocity Racing Sodi crew and Senna Van Wolstein for just having him beat, having him covered on pace.
I'm not going to say it's easier to swallow, but when you have a scenario where you go, hey, what could I have done different there? I don't know that he can do anything different. I mean, at least aside from the mistake that happened in the first place about this race, this main event right here, I think he did everything he could. He just didn't have the package to be able to beat Senna, and you know what? Best the rest in that regard.
How about it for Marcus Kayak from Estonia? Goodness. Podium results, probably the most bittersweet way to end, starting on the front row and getting the lead early, but he's going to walk out of Vegas with some hardware this year to match his podium from his debut. And for Senna Van Walstein, the celebrations now can slowly begin as he makes his way to the podium. Let's go down to David as we talk to the rest of our top finishers.
Yeah, we're down here with Marcus Kayak, and Marcus, I can see the emotion on your face. I know how much this means to you, but it's the emotion.
Yeah, I got a good start. I was leading the race in the first part, but it seemed like the others have much more pace than us, unfortunately. So yeah, in the end, I was just trying to get the 4th or 5th place. It was the maximum I feel like we could do, and yeah.
You know, the track seems to appeal to you. You seem to do very well. This track is so fast for Marcus Kayak.
I don't know, I just like racing in the night, under the lights. It's super cool to race between the barriers, everything. I just enjoy the, how do you say, the environment here, and yeah, I just like it.
Do you want to come back next year?
Of course.
All right, there you go. Marcus Kayak will be looking for his first win at SuperNats, and that's a fact.
Well, there we have it. Scale line beginning to roll. Marcus Kayak, Pedro Hiltbrand will have to wait until 2026 for a shot at it. What a drive as well, though, not to be totally overshadowed. Kyle Wick had a long way to go with the way the start was panning out, and he charged through the field to P3. Caleb?
Thank you. There's Andrew Senning here with Kyle Wick. What a drive for you. P3, and that's another podium for Gary Carlson for GFC. Tell me how this feels for the whole team.
It's really great. Obviously, the week didn't start out how we wanted. We qualified 12th, and then we had a good first heat. And the second heat, we got spun out and had to crawl our way back. So it's 11th to 3rd in this field is tough. So always got to – it's good.
What are your takeaways from the weekend, right? How do you learn and come back stronger next year?
I was – actually, while I was out there, I watched Senna go by, and I saw how he was taking a couple corners, and I took a couple driving pointers and got a little bit better. So we'll just keep working on it, driving more and getting actual seat time, not just doing the pro tours and trying to show up.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Yeah, for Kyle Wick, this is a huge result here in terms of raw pace, going head-to-head with the best in the world, right? With Senna Van Walstein, with Pedro Hiltbrand, 2 world champs in front of him, world champs behind him, SuperNats champs all around. And, well, for AJ Myers, that SuperNats championship win isn't going to happen here tonight. But it's another incredible charge forward.
It's not quite a win, AJ, but this one's got to feel like a win. Driving your way through the field to end up on the podium for the 2nd year in a row.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have told me that I was going to do it again, I would have said that's not going to be possible with this level of field and competition. But Magic Kart USA, Sarnia USA competition, man, the package that we had today, I had the package to win. It sucks I had to start P21, but I am so proud of my team. I'm so proud of everybody. Chubba, that was for you.
And I was just about to ask, a weekend with a lot of emotion, right? Is this good for the team, you know? Can they smile?
Man, we had a rough day. We had some DNFs. We had everything. It's just great to end on a high, and it's, yeah, it's just great.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
And indeed, for AJ Myers, that Sony competition, KZ, was no doubt a wicked piece. But he had one smiling Romanian American, the ultimate success story, looking down on him with, well, a grin from ear to ear. Chava Boyda Show, we miss you. We will never forget you, and we will never forget another phenomenal Pro Shifter main. But goodness, the heartbreak is equally as cutting deep or big, really. Jay Irwin, what a drive, what a start for this young man, and then to get just driven the way he did, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, it's super unfortunate, but to your point, like, you take the positive way for Jay is he's got what it takes to make things happen, right? Phenomenal drive. You see all these guys getting ready for the podium here.
Pedro, where you finished? I didn't see the whole race. I in the race. I could see his back was hard.
You're gonna have to go. You guys are gonna approach the stairs, shake like Lex's hand. You'll walk up onto the stage, get in your podium position.
Well,
Yeah.
watching Jay Irwin there, and one of the things I was just looking at the final results, the number of drivers we talked about maybe not being able to come away after a mulligan, like after one bad round. Look at all the drivers in this top group that literally did just that. Almost all of them had some kind of bad round or some kind of adversity they had to dig out of. Senna, Pedro, Kyle, AJ Myers, they all had Bertucca. They all had that one round or that one thing that held them back, and they still overcame and were able to get to the front.
Yeah, and I mean, really, that leaves the most consistent driver of your top 8, Massimo Valiente. Career best finish, P6. Incredible run. Picked up 7 spots from where he started, but through the week, just rock solid. Ends up fighting for a podium, comes up 1 spot shy, but a great drive for Massimo. Christian Bertucca, Adrian Renadin, Remo Ruscetti, Corentin Russo, a couple of Ital Karts to round off your top 10. Victor Gustafsson, sadly, the drought was not ended tonight. 11th for the driver from Sweden. Just couldn't quite really turn around the momentum once he had the miscue off the start. And you look at the big names that fell back down the board. How about 2 Alliance teammates? Billy Musgrave from the first 5 rows ends up crossing the line 18th after following and kind of getting trapped behind Matteo Spurgel, who went wide, or Gustafson, sorry, who went wide. And then 1 spot behind him and 2 spots behind him. The 2 guys that had to get through, either in the LCQ or in Josh Conker's case, the Circle of Champions Provisional. They drive from outside the top 34 to 18th and 19th, or 19th and 20th.
Just phenomenal. Again, being able to get back from those kind of adversity scenarios. And again, that's at the talent level here. And the reason why SuperNats is so crazy and such a body of work and all the different aspects and all the different phrases we say, at the end of the day, it's earned. You're on the top step or even on the podium, it's well earned. And Rob Howden's with our podium right now.
Time to get things underway for the last podium of this year's SuperNationals. Feel free to come on in here if anybody's on the outside wants to come in to Victory Lane. We've got it cordoned off for our photographers and media, so you're allowed to work your way in here if you'd like to be part of the action. We'll start with the driver finishing in 5th place today. That drive from outside the top 20. Give it up for AJ Myers. Coming home 5th place today. What a tremendous drive. Passed for 5th on the final lap. AJ Myers going to P5. We'll start with the trophies, then we'll bring the checks out, and then we'll do the champagne after that. Finishing in 4th spot today, number 40, Marcus Kajak. Kajak goes to P4. Didn't get to the checker last year, this year onto the podium in 4th spot. Great job for Marcus there. Finishing in 3rd, a monster launch off the line allows him to go up front. P3, Kyle Wick. Magic Kart USA for Myers. Goodwood Kartways Formula K for Kajak. GFC for Kyle Wick. Finishing in 2nd, this guy put it all on the line, just a little bit, not enough. Finishing 2nd, Pedro Hiltbrand. And ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in 28 years for the history of this event, we have a world champion who also adds a SuperNationals race win to the resume on the same year. A stellar drive from deep in the field. Your winner today, Senna Van Wallstein. Awesome drive for Senna. Really the only blemish, that DQ that put him to the tail of the field. He wasn't going to let that hold him back. Came storming through the field. As he said in the interview, kind of get myself through the chaos of the early laps and then work your way from there. Guys, get those trophies in the air for me, please, above your heads. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the podium in Pro Shifter! All right, drop those trophies down. Trying to bring some checks in here, folks. Don't go anywhere. We got checks coming in. We're going to start passing out the checks for you here. Lots of money up for grabs in this category. We'll start with the driver coming home in 5th spot. That'll be $500 for AJ Myers. $500. $750 for Marcus Kajak. Kyle Wick, Going to take 2,500 home, I believe. Yeah, 2,500. 1250, pardon me. 1250 for third, 2,500 for the driver coming home in second, Hiltbrand. And as we know how this works, folks, he's not going to love it. $10,000, and it's the trade for the helmet, as we know. SuperNationals tradition. So many guys have done it. Senna's like, are you kidding me? $10,000. Senna Van Wallstein will add the helmet to the trophy case of Tom Kutcher. There you have it, folks. The trophy's here. Amazing stuff for Senna Van Wallstein. $10,000 to win. What a podium we had. What a race we had here this weekend. Absolutely amazing stuff. We got the trophy, the check shots. Guys, if you want to drop those behind you, move your helmets out of the way. Time for one more celebration on the weekend, and that is the spraying of the champagne to cap off the 28th running of the SuperKarts USA SuperNationals. You guys know how to do it. Come on, Mike, get it off, boys. Grip it and rip it. Celebrate it, drink it, spray it, whatever you guys want to do. Oh, you guys are classy. Good stuff. To the victor goes the spoils. One more time. World champion and now SuperNationals race winner, Senna Van Wallstein. Got stuff down here in Victory Lane. Back to you in the commentary box.